Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Charlie Taylor from KDLA. I just want to welcome you to our 11 o'clock session. You are in room 3. This is children's media that won't kill your soul. And our presenters for today are Pamela Jane and Caitlin Barber from the Boone County Public Library. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please feel free to use the chat function for any questions you might have or comments. If you're not seeing the chat, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen is a little purple arrow. Just click that to expand that panel, and then you'll see a little chat bubble at the bottom of the screen. And you just type your chat in there. It looks like we've got some people using it right now, which is great, including Lauren. So good introduction for Lauren. Many of you know Lauren Abner from KDLA as well. She's going to be monitoring the chat and sharing links there and other helpful information. We do have captioning available for all of our sessions during the conference. You will either be able to see a notification at the top of your screen that asks you if you want to see captions. That will show them to you here in Blackboard Collaborate. You can also view them using the Stream Text Player link that Lauren has stuck in the chat. That will show it in a separate window, separate tab. And the links to the slides for today's presentation are also in the chat to the Google Drive. And just a reminder that in this particular platform, the links on the screen are not live. So if you, Pamela and Caitlin have graciously provided links for the videos and such. So to get those after this is over, or you can get them now, go ahead and download that handout from the Google Drive. And finally, all the sessions are being recorded and they'll be shared out to you once the conference is over. I believe that's it. Pamela and Caitlin, I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to you.
Hello, everybody. Again, this is children's media that won't kill your soul. We're going to introduce ourselves really quick and then get into all our recommendations. Oh, well, might help if I right thing. Sorry, guys. So I am Pamela Jane. I am the Youth Services Librarian for the Florence branch of the Boone County Public Library. I've been working in libraries for about 13 years now, focusing mostly on youth services. And I just really love TV shows and movies and everything. And I've watched a lot.
My name is Caitlin Barber. I have worked in adult services in libraries for roughly 10 years. I'm the outreach librarian at the main branch of the Boone County Public Library. And it wasn't until I started having kids that I started to really think more about the types of media that they're consuming. And I remember when I was a kid, my mom saying, "Turn that off," you know, and I thought, oh, I'll never be that mom. But now I have a little bit more sympathy for her. We don't have to like all of the same things, but I want to be able to sit with my kids, enjoy what we're consuming together, and be able to discuss things. So that's how I come into this from the mom perspective.
So the way we're structuring this particular presentation is we are first going to cover TV shows, movies, and video games that are available for purchase that you can purchase for your libraries or you may already have. And then we are going to cover things that are currently streaming that we, one, hope will eventually be released for libraries to purchase, or are things we think you probably just need to be aware of. They could possibly be used for program ideas, that kind of thing. So we're first going to cover TV shows. The first one is Bluey. I'm sure a lot of you know about Bluey. It's the best show ever. I like it because of the emphasis on the importance of play. So there's a lot of modeling that happens in the show. They show playing in a realistic way, so you don't see so much the imaginative, like what the kids see in their mind when they're playing, but more of what they've used to create their play things. And I do really enjoy that they show play in different ways. So you have the more like fun, interesting things, but you also have the children using play to work through their emotions or difficult situations and figuring out their feelings about those. Also, the adults, my favorite. You have parents that are really involved. They're not super perfect. but they try their best. They always try and include the kids in any sort of conversations that they have, and trying to get the kids to work through issues on their own. And I just want to shout out Lucky's dad in this show. He's their next door neighbor. And even though he's not involved in whatever they're playing, if they somehow rope him in, he's always game to actually play.
Yes, and what I love about the show is that the adults all work together. Like Bluey's parents come together and do things in the house, do what needs to be done, and are very interactive with their children. So it's not like we only see one parent doing one thing. The other thing that I love about the show is that it's really genuinely funny. I feel completely safe throwing this on for my kids and maybe doing the dishes and not focusing 100% on the show. But when it does pop on, if I'm doing something else, there will be moments where it's so funny that I'm just like, I've got to stop and watch this because it's cracking me up.
So we're going to quickly share 2 clips. The first one is going to be of a trip to the pool where the kids and the dad were basically making fun of the mom for being too prepared for everything, and then now they have to face the consequences of that.
But I didn't bring any food.
Aww.
You know what, kids? I think we might be done.
No, I don't want to get out.
Come on, Bingo.
I'm cold.
Well, grab your towel, kid.
I didn't bring one.
Just shake.
I haven't learned how to shake it.
Come on!
No, I don't want to get out. I'm staying in the pool. I can't shake properly.
Louie, give us a hand with your sister.
So just a little taste of, I'm sure, something that a lot of parents have probably had to face before. And then in this one,
This is one that I picked from Bluey. This is one of those moments where I was just like, that's hilarious. This show's really funny. And also it just what kind of shows the way kids absorb things that they witness adults doing. It's just funny. Panic was that easy.
and so the next show we're going to talk about is Daniel Tiger. I will admit, as an adult with no children, this show is not like my favorite to watch, but I do appreciate what Daniel Tiger does and would not feel bad about recommending this to parents to show their kids. I appreciate that it is still part of that Mr. Rogers universe and still is continuing what Mr. Rogers was trying to do with his show.
It definitely has that nostalgia factor. I feel like even when I was a kid, I did enjoy watching Mr. Rogers, but it felt a little bit outdated to me. And in this case,
Hi there for a second. It's Lauren from KDLA. It sounds like the audio's gotten a little bit faint for the person who was just speaking. If you don't mind to get maybe a bit closer to the mic, that would be great.
Okay, is that better?
That sounded a little bit better to me.
I'll try to speak loud. Okay, so with Daniel Tiger, this is a show that kind of updates Mr. Rogers. So when I was a kid, if I watched Mr. Rogers, sometimes I would feel like it was slightly outdated, but this kind of brings it up to date, and the animation is really cute, and the songs are really good. So this song we're going to play is one that I sing to my kids pretty often, and I just think it's a jam.
One, two, three. Brush up, brush up, brush up, brush your teeth. First you brush the top teeth.
The top teeth.
Brush the top and don't stop.
Brush the top.
And then you brush the bottom teeth.
The bottom teeth.
Brush the bottom and make sure that you got 'em.
Got 'em.
But
So, and that would be a good song to maybe even use in like a story time, things like that. So Daniel Tiger, if you just look up Daniel Tiger songs on YouTube, great. And then once we get the slide. Sorry, guys. To show you the clips, we got to do it this way.
Yeah, but we don't have many more clips. I don't
No.
think. Okay. So Nella the Princess Knight is one that as soon as I saw that title, I was like, we are watching that. As a kid growing up a girl, I was super into fantasy shows, and it didn't seem like there were a ton of fantasy shows growing up for me that featured a female lead. There was pretty much like Joan of Arc type shows and Xena Warrior Princess. So when I saw this, you know, you always kind of want to introduce your kids to your interests, and they don't have to necessarily be interested, but I like to, you know, kind of introduce it. And my kids do like this show. So the cool things about this show are that there's representation for people of color. Nella is mixed race. And this is kind of interesting, especially in a fantasy setting that doesn't happen too often. And it also gently questions gender norms. So Nella is absolutely a girly girl, a typical princess, wears a beautiful dress, has, you know, her beautiful hairstyles, has her pink unicorn. But when she needs to, she transforms into the Princess Knight. And the transformation is kind of cool too, I think. So, and it's a funny show as well. So we'll just show you that transformation of Nella into the Princess Knight.
My heart is bright. Time to be a princess knight. My heart grows strong. It's time to shine my light. Sword, shield, boots, my courage shining bright. Now I am the Princess Knight.
So if you can't tell, we really love shows with songs.
You can sing together. Yeah, it's kind of like a He-Man situation. That's right.
Next, we're going to talk briefly about Muppet Babies, the reboot. When I started watching this show, I loved Muppet Babies when I was a kid, so I was determined not to like this one. But it is very well done. They focus a lot on strategies for kids about helping friends, the importance of friendship. And we're not going to show it, but there is a clip about the Gonzarella episode that I saw a lot of people talking about online to say about like accepting yourself and having your friends accept yourself as well.
Yeah, I love this too. When we, you know, nostalgia is a big thing for me, and so puppets are always a big thing in my house. So we watched Muppet Christmas Carol every Christmas, and so I tried to get my kids into Muppets, and they weren't necessarily on board with the actual puppets, but Muppet Babies they did enjoy. Okay, Molly of Denali is a great show on PBS. It definitely has really interesting themes, something different for kids. It's educational. My kids were super fascinated with the show when it came on. It discusses Indigenous people and the tough American history about Indigenous people, but it's in a way that children can absorb and you can discuss with them. So it's definitely a good show for fostering discussion.
And I will say, I don't know if this will translate, but I used to love Arthur, and this show gives me like Arthur vibes. So it's not that very lesson-y thing. It's more of a storytelling to get you to learn a lesson. Next is Craig of the Creek, which is one of my favorite shows. I watch this all the time. It's super fun and engaging. It's about kids who, after school and in their free time, basically go to this creek near their house, and there's just a bunch of kids who play and just be themselves. I do enjoy that the characters are not perfect. I hate when shows have like a specific character who's like the goody-goody lesson bringer. Craig is often called out by his friends when he's being a jerk or doing something wrong. And I think that's really important for kids to see, is that part of a friendship is calling out your friends and calling them in.
What I love about this show is that it's all set outside. So even if my kids aren't necessarily outside playing. They're seeing other people be outside and explore and learning that it's cool to be outside and experience the environment.
We're going to show a quick clip of this just so that you have an idea of what the show kind of, the vibe of the show is.
Am a robot walking.
Look out below!
Unidentified paper at the stump. Reading. No. What the? It's a bunch of weird symbols or something. Maybe. Meet me 2 backyards down the creek where the sun plays hide and seek. Whoa. This must be it.
John Paul Mercer.
Craig Williams.
Welcome to the Bush of Secrecy. You've been handpicked to join one of the most clandestine societies in the creek, a club whose name is only spoken in hushed whispers. Secret Book Club.
So that is a little taste of Craig of the Creek. DuckTales, again, is a reboot. I will tell you, the only thing I remember from the original, and I watched it when I was a kid, is literally the theme song. So I wasn't going into it with any sort of expectations. But the main thing I really love about this reboot, one, still great, lots of adventures, but they really go in depth about the triplets' mom and like what happened to her, which I don't believe they really touched on in the original show. And I love that arc. I love that it's all about like a focus on family. Owl House is a Disney show that was made by the people who worked on Gravity Falls. So if you have Gravity Falls fans, they will probably like this show. The show follows Luz, who is a human who doesn't really fit in the human world and like accidentally kind of gets sucked into this magical world and is taken in by the Owl Lady. It's a lot about being yourself, the importance of friendship. There are, I think Luz is bisexual and there is a lesbian character. Super well done, super cute story. The seasons kind of get a little darker as you go, but not super scary. She-Ra, again, another reboot that I did not really remember anything about the original, so it didn't really bother me to watch the new one. So good. This is actually developed by Noelle Stevenson, who is a graphic novel writer and artist. So if you have like tweens and teens who love Noelle Stevenson, hook them up with this show. She-Ra is like action adventure, not super cheesy, very much about like finding yourself and doing the right thing. Love it. And then Bob's Burgers. I have so many teens who love this show. I love this show. Super family-centric stories. The family is always trying to work together to help each other. Humor, great. Songs, awesome. And there is a movie coming out next year. So if you weren't aware of that, that is happening officially. So we're going to show, if you are not familiar with Bob's Burgers, just 2 quick clips. One from the perspective of Bob and Linda, who are the parents, which some parents might recognize as something familiar that they might have to do. And then one where the kids meet a librarian. Sorry, guys.
Why do we even have to do this?
Come on, is it so hard to glue things?
And run a restaurant? Yeah, it is.
Well, this is what parents do. They glue crap on stuff for their kids. So glue.
I'm
You got a lot of
gluing.
stuff. Glue,
Okay,
glue, glue, glue,
Please don't chant.
and
glue.
glue, and glue, and glue.
So I love that clip. It's so funny. And then, oh, I didn't. We have them meeting the librarian in the show.
Thomas Edison, something no one would recognize if plagiarized.
Biographies under E.
Thanks.
That's my job, and I love it. Topsy. I didn't say anything. Topsy.
Are you saying Top Chef? I think he said Topsy.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did.
What's a Topsy?
I don't know. Don't ask me. Look it up.
Like in a book?
Yeah, sure. Books are great. No, use the internet. Books are stupid.
So that's just some fun with Bob's Burgers right there.
Yeah, when I first heard about Bob's Burgers, I thought it would be like a Family Guy or Simpsons, and it's not. It's more wholesome, I feel like, than those shows.
And then next, I just want to mention that there is a presentation happening later today at 4 by Ashley Sims. She's talking about anime and manga. I got to see like a little sneak peek. Super great recommendations. I highly recommend going to that if you need some information. So next are movies. I just wanted to put this slide up here real quick because there have been recent Cinderellas that have come out that are just not the best. So I wanted to do kind of a throwback to these two that I feel still hold up over time. Ever After I describe as what the Disney live action Cinderella kind of wanted to be. So I would still check that out. It has Drew Barrymore. It's all about like Cinderella. Basically, she saves herself in this story. And then you have the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella, which I've only ever known as the Brandy Cinderella. The music, great. Casting, amazing. I mean, you have a Filipino prince. You have Whoopi Goldberg. You have Whitney. You have Brandy. What more can you ask?
So I just want to quickly mention the latest Disney films. I feel like maybe didn't get as much fanfare as other Disney films have gotten in the past, but that's just the state of the world right now with theatrical releases. But I do want to mention Raya and the Last Dragon. Another one, I know I'm a sucker for a female lead, and this is another really cool female action film where there's two main characters, or two female main characters that are kind of like enemies at first, and then they come together and work together for the better good. So that's really cool, and it talks a lot about trusting other people. And the soundtrack is really good. Like as a score, this was the first movie with my kids where my daughter, we were listening in the car. There was like a pop song that came out with it, and we were listening to the pop song, but then it kind of flipped through to the score, and my daughter was like, she could remember exactly what songs went. She's only 4 years old. She could remember exactly what songs went with what scenes in the movie, and I thought that was really cool that she kind of absorbed that and that had an effect on her. And the soundtrack is really great in Luca as well. That's set in Italy, and it's beautiful animation. Of course, Disney and Pixar really know their strength, which is animation involving water, and so both of these movies have that beautiful animation with water. And so Luca is really good for kind of helping people you know, kind of recognizing who you are and being comfortable with that. So those are good movies. All right, so just to quickly discuss Studio Ghibli, we talk about Disney, but sometimes I do like to kind of get out of the Disney sphere. And these are older movies. Ponyo's the most recent one. I think that came out in 2012. And these are actually coming back into popularity. Why I like these, they're super imaginative. There's always some kind of fantasy element, but they're also very gentle and peaceful. If I were to talk to you about Raya, I would say Raya can be intense, but these movies are not, at least for the younger audiences, these three that we're highlighting here. In the next slide, we'll highlight the more intense versions, or the more intense movies. But these are very peaceful, they have beautiful animation, and they have relatable themes and issues for young children. So things like moving to a new town and making friends, illness, and then parental disagreements. They handle parental disagreements really cool. And so, are we going to show the Totoro clip? Okay, so we're going to show a clip really quick of My Neighbor Totoro. And this is kind of like, this is silly to me. You would think, it's just funny how kids absorb things. So my kids were super fascinated by this because the nice thing about all of the Studio Ghibli movies is that the way they animate the kids and the way the kids act is the way any kid would act. So here you'll see the kids have moved into a new house and they're kind of playing in their new yard. And my kids were super fascinated by this and thought this was like the most hilarious scene ever. So, hope you enjoy it.
It's collapsing! It's collapsing!
It's just kids interacting with each other and doing cartwheels. For some reason that fascinates. Kids always fascinate kids.
And then next slide is just of the things that are considered more for the older age, which is elementary and up, like Spirited Away, Howls, and Cast in the Sky. Just putting that out there. Also, one my teens constantly talk about Howl's Moving Castle still, but PBS actually just did a documentary with Miyazaki. And so I'm sure that will eventually be released for purchase. So just something else to think about.
Okay, so I do want to mention Trolls and Trolls World Tour. These are pretty popular, so we won't dwell too long on them, but they have a lot of great music, actors that you might recognize, Justin Timberlake. I really liked, honestly, I like Trolls World Tour the best because it parodies a lot of different styles of music. Ozzy Osbourne plays the rock troll in it, and just really cute, teaching that it's okay to be yourself. All right, these are cool, I think, because they're a little more obscure, kind of getting out of the sphere of the typical kids media. Secret of the Kells, Song of the Sea, and Wolfwalkers are movies from an Irish production studio called Cartoon Saloon. And they're really interesting as far as animation. They can be intense. I think the only one that's like good for the younger audience is Song of the Sea. The other two are a little bit more intense, but they're super imaginative and definitely something cool to throw on if you're tired of the same old.
Okay, so few games, just real quick.
We are a little bit Switch heavy in our video game section, but the Stardew Valley is available across platforms. Yeah, I love Stardew Valley. I saw Ashley mention it. I could go on about this game. It was a labor of love by one creator. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe one guy thought of all this stuff. Like, he made the music, he did the programming, he came up with the story. It is based on, you can tell he's influenced by games like Animal Crossing or Harvest Moon, but it's a really cool game. It teaches about time management. I'm always really big, we're big gardeners in my family, so I'm always really big about teaching my kids about where food comes from and that kind of thing. So this is a cool game because when you plant crops, you actually plant them in the season corresponding to, I mean, it's not 100% accurate, but like you plant beets in the fall, you plant melons in the summer, you know, so things like that. It also, there's a lot of like emphasis on relationships and building up your community, and you have the option of whether you want to build up a community center or whether you want to contribute to like a conglomerate, Amazon, so you can pick which one you want to do. And there are something that I do want to warn everybody about. There are mild adult themes like alcoholism and romance. So I let my 4-year-old play this game. She can't read though, so I think it's very, like, you have to get to know the characters and then you get an idea that maybe they have an alcohol problem. So it's something just to be aware of, and it's something I would talk to my kids about if they got to that point in the game. But for the most part, this game focuses on time management, building a farm, interacting with your community. So it's a really cool game.
And next is Animal Crossing. Similar, you're building your own island, you're interacting with characters, but Parents that are kind of concerned about letting their kids play video games, you can always try and find something that is them like learning something. So in Animal Crossing, there's a lot of budgeting that you have to do. So you have to like take a loan out to like improve your house. You have to do certain tasks to get money. You have to pay for clothes, that kind of thing. But in this newer version, in case you've played the older ones, the characters, I guess, were a little meaner in their comments sometimes before. In this one, the worst insult I've ever gotten from like a neighbor on my island is, "Oh, that's a very Pamela thing," in response to like a gift I gave them. So super easy, very chill type of game if you're looking for something like that.
Yoshi's Crafted World is the first game that I introduced kids to, and I just think it's really good for younger kids. You want to have something that you all can do together. It's a really nice intro into video game mechanics. You can play multiplayer, and it's just silly, funny. It makes kids laugh. If you're familiar with the Mario games, Yoshi swallows the bad guys and then he lays an egg, and my kids thought that was like the most hilarious thing ever, that he would turn the bad guys into eggs. And then this is another Mario. Of course, Mario's great for playing with your kids, but it's multiplayer, fun animation, and the nostalgia factor has the classic Mario characters and sounds.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about things that are currently streaming. With this, we're going to move through pretty quickly since we only have like less than 15 minutes left. But if you ever want to talk to us more about anything, please just send us an email.
Ben and Holly's Little Kingdom is, I would watch Ben and Holly on my own. I'm not even lying to you. It is from the creators of Peppa Pig. It has like that classic kind of British humor that's kind of dry but still silly, and so I really enjoy it. It also has a lot of great callbacks to other fantasy like Lord of the Rings. I wish that this was more available on DVD. There are some books that you can get and different toys and that kind of thing. But yeah, the series isn't out on DVD. Nickelodeon chose it as well, though. Puffin Rock is another, you can tell I love the international stuff. Puffin Rock is a Irish, Ben and Holly was British, of course, and Puffin Rock is Irish. And this is from that same studio, Cartoon Saloon, and they are coming out with a movie. So hopefully when they come out with the movie, the DVD will be available, just like Song of the Sea, Secret of the Kells, Wolfwalkers, that kind of thing. Same old thing, dry humor, really cute music and animation. And it's narrated by Chris O'Dowd, and it's got the classic like Chris O'Dowd interjections. You know, he's an Irish comedian, so really an interesting show. It's fun to watch. Bebo is the most recent, or not the most recent, but it is a recent release on Netflix, and it supposedly has a Blu-ray release date, but it hasn't happened yet. Like, they're advertising that it's going to come out, so hopefully it will come out soon. This is, you know, themes about accepting yourself as you are. Lin-Manuel Miranda does the music. You know, he did Hamilton and Moana, so the music's really good, and he plays the main character. We're not going to play the clip, but there is a clip in the PowerPoint of a song I really like.
I just want to mention that there is a death that happens at the beginning of the movie. So a lot of the movie is also talking about working through grief. So I just a heads up because I didn't know that's what it was, and I was a little surprised. So giving you a heads up. Sydney to the Max is on Disney or Disney Plus. I like this show. It deals with a daughter who is in middle school, and then they do flashbacks of the dad in the 90s in middle school as well, often like mimicking or parallel situations that the dad had to go through as the middle schooler his daughter is going through. I like this show because it deals with a lot of topics that other shows aren't dealing with. So we have an episode about Sydney getting her first period and how to navigate that. Microaggressions. There's a whole episode about how the class deals with a teacher who is microaggressive towards some of the students. There's a whole episode about divorce. So I think it's just one of those to keep an eye on. It's really great, something to know.
So Hilda is a show that's streaming on Netflix. Love this show. It's very imaginative, great animation. The cool thing about it is it's based on a series of comic books. So this was a nice intro to comic books for my kids. Like, we watched the show and then we would read the comic books at night. So that was really neat about it. The parental relationship is really cool. She has a really close relationship with her mom, but they do have struggles, and it kind of shows the consequences of what happens if you don't listen to your parents. But then at the same time, even though Hilda might get herself into trouble, her mom is still there for her and helps her get through it. So that is a cool show.
Versus the Machines, I watched because teens recommended it to me, but it's really for pretty much most ages. The focus is on the family relationship. These are there's like a Zuckerberg type person who upgrades the phones to robots, and then the robots end up trying to take all the humans away and taking over the world, and the Mitchells are the only family left on Earth, and they have to save the world. Super funny. I do appreciate, though, the relationship between the teen daughter who is moving away to college and the father. They don't really get each other, and I did like that it didn't focus just on the teen having to change their perspective on things. It also focused on how the father had to change his perspective in order for them to have a close relationship. Adam Ruins Everything is an older show currently on HBO Max. I'm putting this on there because we all have issues with misinformation. So Adam Ruins Everything does this in a humorous way where he's basically just debunking things that we all believe are true. Things like diamonds are forever, mouthwashes. Like mouthwash apparently used to be a floor cleaner or something, and then marketing decided, oh, we can sell this mouthwash. So things that maybe you don't know or you might know that I thought teens might be interested in, teachers might be interested in using some of the clips that are available on YouTube as well. Glitch Techs as well is currently streaming on Netflix. It's a Nickelodeon show. I call this Men in Black, but with gaming. So in this show, if the video games glitch, the characters come out of the TV and start attacking people, and then they have to call in this special group of gamers who come in, fight off the glitches, and then they have their own little mind wipe wand similar to Men in Black. So super fun, exciting, just a different thing for your gaming kiddos. The half of it, just really quick, if you have teachers looking for something to introduce Cyrano in a different, more updated way, this perfect movie. It's by Alice Wu is the director, which if you've ever seen any other Alice Wu movies, you know they're amazing. But realistically, the relationships in this film are really good. The ending is meh, but I still recommend it. Babysitter's Club is the Babysitter's Club. I don't know what more to say. I really love this rebooted version. The actors look like actual teenagers. Claudia is still the girl that everyone wants to be. At least that's what I thought when I was a kid and watching this show over again. If you're familiar with the books, you're going to be familiar with pretty much all the storylines that happen in the show. Never Have I Ever. I'm going to have Caitlin talk a little bit more because she's gotten through more of it. Super funny show about teens navigating the world. But there are a lot of, I have a lot of problems with secondhand embarrassment. So just be warned, if you also have a problem with that, you're going to have to pause the show quite a bit. There's a lot of cringy things where I'm like, no, don't do that. And then I have to pause and give myself a minute.
This show is, I think, created by Kaling, and so kind of typical of Kaling stuff if you watch the
Caitlin,
yeah,
Caitlin,
still
we're
having
not
trouble
hearing
hearing me.
Caitlin at all. Caitlin, can you repeat what you just said? Make sure there's nothing in front of the mic and speak a little more slowly. Thanks.
Okay, sorry. This, when Pamela's talking about embarrassment. That's kind of typical of Mindy Kaling's work. She's the creator of the show. And so if you ever watch the Mindy Project, you know, Mindy always did embarrassing things. So I actually turned the show on because Pamela recommended it, and I sat through 7 episodes at one time, and it just is hilarious and goes through typical teenage stuff. And there are diverse characters, and it kind of handles diversity in an interesting way and what teenagers of different ethnicities have to deal with. So it was kind of eye-opening in that way.
So this is a Babysitter's Guide to Monster Hunting. It's on Netflix. I thought this was a really well done movie. Basically, it's kind of like for tweens, like intros to horror movies, if they're ready for that, and you don't want to necessarily show them like It or whatever else is out there. Super well done, diverse characters. It is also a book series, so there is that. Nailed It I put on here because I think it's important to show people of all ages that failing is totally fine. These things that they have the contestants do are impossible, so we know they're going to fail, and the contestants are able to make fun of themselves, and the judges make fun, but also kind of encourage them at the same time. And then last are K-dramas. So I don't know if many of you have watched any K-dramas. They're like everywhere: Netflix, Hulu, Viki, Drama Fever. But I put this on here because there are a lot of teens who are getting really into K-pop, and they might start looking into other aspects of Korean media. So K-drama is just Korean dramas. They're usually only 16 episodes. Very rarely are they given like a second or a third season. And there's a multitude of topics and genres. So you have Itaewon Class, which is like a group of friends. There is a Black Korean character on there, and they do touch on the anti-Blackness that happens in Korea with the people who live there. You have historical ones, which I can't really tell you much about. I don't like those. But I don't really like any historical show, whatever the language. So there are tons of people who do love those. Hotel de Luna is on Netflix. I just finished that one. It's all about ghosts and the afterlife and dealing with grudges that you might have and working through emotions. So there's a bunch of different things that you can introduce kids to that they'll probably find something that they'll enjoy, as long as they're willing to watch, read subtitles. So that's for us. Please contact us if you have any questions. I know we kind of flew through because we had a lot of stuff. But we would love to hear from you. We love talking about TV shows, movies, all kinds of stuff. I just want to mention in the chat, David Payne had mentioned that there are some books that are released for the movie, the Mitchells movie, that are called Connected, because the movie was reprinted. There are books available if you wanted to get those for your collection. So if you guys have any questions, please throw them in the chat. We have 1 minute.
Pamela and Caitlin, while folks are chatting in, I don't want to hold anybody up, so I just want to highlight what Lauren just put in the chat. Not just your contact, the links to your email, your contact information, but also the slides, which I mentioned at the beginning. We'll have all the live links to the clips that you guys put in. There's also, you all, Caitlin and Pamela, were generous enough to put just a list in there of everything, so you can just see it all together at once and don't have to compile it yourself. So. All right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying thank you for attending the presentation.
Yes, thanks to Pamela and Caitlin so much for presenting. It was great, so entertaining. And I think the chat was evidence of that, and Lauren's right too. Yeah, these were great recommendations for everyone. So thank you, everyone. And real quick, just wanted to throw this in. There was a session that was scheduled for 4 o'clock today called From Fanfic to Fan Fame, and that has been canceled. It was at 4 o'clock in this room, so it has been canceled if you don't have the most updated schedule. So, and a reminder that all of our sessions are going to be being recorded, and they'll be accessible once the conference is over. And thanks again to Pamela and Caitlin. Y'all enjoy, everybody, the rest of the conference.